Currently in Winnipeg, we are sitting at 13 degrees above freezing this 12th day of May, and I have had the distinct pleasure of inviting two very special guests into the studio. On May 13th, tomorrow, the official opening of Picasso in Winnipeg. Two very distinct exhibits, the Vollard Suite and collected works of Picasso's from galleries and private collections in Canada, here at the Winnipeg Art Gallery. In the studio currently, the director and CEO of the Winnipeg Art Gallery, Dr. Stephen Borys, and one of the associate curators at the National Gallery of Canada, Sonia Del Re, responsible for bringing the Vollard Suite here to Winnipeg. Thank you for joining us at the Diamond Lane on Classic 107.
It's our pleasure to be here. Thanks you.
For having us.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you. So we were just playing a little bit of Picasso meets classical music, in the beginning of the 20th century. Lots of collaborations with the ballet russe. So for our classical kids, that's where we're coming from with Picasso. So tell us, for our audience's sake, what we could expect to see at the gallery.
Well, on one level, you can see the way the 20th century unfolded in terms of contemporary art. Mm-hmm. You can see some of the key themes and issues and ideas going on, not just in artistic circles, but also in terms of the broader arts. You can see what's going on. And here was an artist embedded in it all, like in a place like Paris, in south of France, in Spain, and actually responding through his art making. So it's an amazing snapshot, I think, of the avant-garde of the first half-century.
Well, and the Picasso in Canada exhibit is probably the more versatile of the two collections that we're going to be that are going to be exhibited, or that are being exhibited right now at the WAG. Tell us a little bit about the multimedia kind of presentation of Picasso.
Well, that was one of the reasons we did it. For me, it was a little bit like Picasso 101. Mm-hmm. We have this amazing Vollard Suite coming, incredible body of work. And it was a chance to leverage some other key loans. So we brought together about 35 works, but spread out paintings, watercolors, prints of all techniques, drawings, ceramics. So you're seeing actually Picasso at his best, most diverse. You're also seeing the range of subject matter, and you're seeing this produced over a period of 6 decades. So you're seeing a lot of Picasso, a lot of very different Picasso, and I think it's a wonderful way to go from Picasso in Canada into Man and Beast, the Vollard Suite, and then just focus on a critical decade of the artist's production.
Well, speaking of the Vollard Suite, and this was commissioned by a French art collector. Is that correct, Dr. Del Re, if you don't mind?
Certainly.
Yeah. So and this is in the permanent collection of the NGC.
Correct. So the National Gallery of Canada purchased the entire Vollard Suite of 100 prints back in 1957. And it's interesting to remember that Picasso was still alive and producing at that time, so he was considered a contemporary artist, but he wasn't exactly widely collected by museums like ours. And so it was a very important decision that we took back in 1957 to acquire not one, not two, but 100 etchings by Picasso. And this is, I believe, I hope I'm not mistaken, but I believe this is the first time that the entire ensemble has traveled outside of Ottawa.
Excellent. Well, and we have a really great relationship here with the Winnipeg Art Gallery and the National Gallery of Canada. The last time you were here was to bring the Chagall, Daphnis and Chloe lithographs. So, is this a relationship that's going to continue and flourish?
Absolutely, and Stephen can say a little bit more about that. But I think with Picasso, it's an excellent follow-up to Chagall's Daphnis and Chloe show last year at the WAG. We saw Chagall, another master of modernism, use the medium of lithography to depict the beautiful classical tale of Daphnis and Chloe. And now here we have Picasso working from 1930 to 1937 on these 100 sheets done on etching plates. And we discover an entirely different Picasso. And I think that people will notice that in addition to the paintings that are in the show Picasso in Canada, that he was very much enthralled with the idea of the drawing continually. And so these etchings are important because it shows us that Picasso not only did these large, monumental, bright, in-your-face paintings, but he also liked to work on a smaller scale. And these are works that, as the visitors to the WAG will notice, require kind of intimate viewing experience.
Just in terms of the smaller scale of their size, but also in terms of the intimacy, I think think, within them, his own personal intimacy that comes out in these smaller sketches, these feelings of him trying to explore himself as he kind of goes through this. Well, I think
that's the beauty of the Vollard Suite, because it was produced from 30 to 37. This is a kind of short amount of time when you think of Picasso, because he was active over a period of 70 years. So you have this moment in time where you see him working day after day, month after month. And in fact, the works are described with their production dates. So you can follow the Vollard Suite or its production almost like a journal, a personal journal of Picasso's life.
Brilliant. I'm really excited to see it. But let's talk about a few things that are happening at the WAG in honor of these exhibitions. Not only are we getting some personal guided tours from the two of you tomorrow on Saturday afternoon at 2 and 2:30 and then 3 and 3:30, I think. All of this information, of course, is available at picasso.wag.ca, or just go to wag.ca and you'll be able to find all of this information. We're currently in the studio with Director and CEO of the Winnipeg Art Gallery, Dr. Stephen Borys, and one of the Associate Curators of the National Gallery of Canada, Dr. Sonia Del Re, who has brought this Vollard Suite into Winnipeg, and it is being so beautifully complemented by this Canadian collection of Picasso's works. Dr. Borys, would you like to speak to just there's some interesting things going on at the gallery in conjunction with this exhibition.
It's amazing, and Picasso in Canada started because of the Vollard Suite coming and because of the National Gallery at WAG relationship, which is, there's only 3 museums in Canada that have this relationship, and we launched ours in 2013. We've organized about 10 exhibitions. Not only does it give it access to the national collection, but it also gives us access to their curators. For instance, Sonia curated the Chagall show last summer, this one here. But it brings to Winnipeg something that we can't always share with our audiences. And it actually helped me bring some significant loans for Picasso in Canada. And I think it's really a Picasso summer here in Winnipeg.
It'll be fantastic. It runs through the 13th of August. There are also daily film screenings of a work called Pablo Picasso, Legacy of a Genius. I think it's produced by BBC. And that will be shown in the gallery. Is that going to be in the Mira Richardson Auditorium, or is it going to be upstairs?
We have it embedded right in the exhibition gallery. So there's this really nice little discreet theater where you can sit on a sofa and watch the film.
Brilliant. More events, of course, at picasso.wag.ca. Dr. Borys, Dr. Del Re, thank you so much for introducing us to this exciting exhibit. The members-only preview happens tonight at 7 o'clock. If you're not a member, you can always sign up at wag.ca. I might try and squeak in there as well. I'm getting some good nods from our doctors here in the studio. Picasso in Winnipeg at the Winnipeg Art Gallery happens, officially May 13th through August 13th, 2017. Catch it before it leaves. Again, come back anytime. Such a pleasure to have you both.
Thank you.
All right. We are in the Diamond Lane with Sarah Jo, me, your host, on Classic 107 in Winnipeg. We're going to go to a short break and come back with some Ravel.